What's going on, everybody? This is We the People, a real estate podcast. Let's begin. How's it going, beautiful people of the Bay, beautiful people of the world, the United States? Guys, we got a heck of a show here today.
Yes, we do.
Frank, the bank, Carlos Rojas here with We the People Real Estate Podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about rates. As always, President Joe Biden addresses the State of the Union. 2024 State of the Union address. We'll be talking about that as our current president decided to mention a lot of things that have to do with housing. So we're going to go ahead and dissect that a little bit. And then on real estate news, we're going to talk about new constructions, unemployment, mortgage app increases, and the feds. What are they saying about your rates? So let's go ahead and start.
Let's do it.
So as always, let's go ahead and talk about these rates, which they are at 7.5. We went down again.
Yeah.
Thankfully. So, in the right direction here this time. What do you think, Frank?
So, Carlos, I know we missed last week. So our rates are now, it's been 2 weeks since we did it together.
Yep.
That's significant. Our last show, we were at, I believe, 7.92. Does that sound right?
Yep.
And now it's showing 7.525.
Yeah.
So positive news is they are definitely trending in the right direction. But Carlos, you prepared a cool slide.
I did.
Now, guys, if you're looking at the screen, these are retail rates. Okay, this is what your big retail banks are showing you. But this is fake news.
Yep.
Show them, Carlos.
Here's what we got.
Look at this. All right. So check it out. The conventional rate, which is that top 30-year fixed rate on the left, 7.525. All right. What is Lincoln Lending, the wholesale company, doing today? 6%. That's today's rate, Carlos.
Yeah.
And normally when we talk about these, we have never done the rate sheet before to put a comparison side by side. Yeah. I always just tell them verbally. But look at this, guys. This is in writing. I put this on social media today. Conventional, 6%. Now, how many people are not in the market to buy right now because they're scared because they Google the rates and they see 7.5%? A lot.
Yeah,
right?
It happens for sure.
This is why people are not excited to buy. You're at 6. And if you're at 6, that means you can buy down even lower than that. But more exciting, let's say you're a veteran or you're an FHA buyer, 5.49. Yeah. Those are rates from like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? So we're there. The great news is for all of our listeners, we're there. This is black and white. This is right in front of you.
Yeah.
This is not a joke.
Yeah. So as you guys can see here, guys, basically, if you're one of those that just constantly Googles the news, always choose to talk to a mortgage lender. It's just, it makes so much sense, especially Lincoln Lending here, which will get you rates like this one. Okay.
Now listen, you just full disclosure, you can go to any good wholesale brokerage company and they should have significantly lower rates. They might not be as low as us, but I own the company. Yeah. That's the difference. I can change the rate and make it a little lower. But guys, please don't listen to Google. That's what we want to tell you.
Absolutely. Or the news per se.
Or the news.
I wouldn't.
90% of channels. I mean, hell, listen, even Fox News isn't out here saying that everybody else has lower rates. They're still probably saying what Google says.
Absolutely. So. All right, so let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. President Joe Biden at the State of the Union address. Let's go ahead and watch this video. He's going to go ahead and talk about the housing crisis that he knows is going on and how he's going to fix it. Let's go ahead and talk about this.
I know the cost of housing is so important to you. If inflation keeps coming down, mortgage rates will come down as well, and the Fed acknowledges that. But I'm not waiting. I want to provide.
He's not waiting.
An annual tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as mortgage rates come down to put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home or trade up for a little more space.
Okay, so let me pause it right there. We'll continue. There's definitely more. So $400 a month. I can already tell so many people are gonna just call me with this. Hey, did you hear what the president said? How do I get that $400 a month? What's going on? What is your take on this, Frank? What do you think about this?
You write a letter to Pennsylvania Avenue, Washington, D.C., and you tell them to send you a check. All right, so here's the funny thing. It's like most of the bullshit that Biden spews, the student loan things, completely illegal, blah, blah, blah. He throws these things out there to get votes. $400 a month. First of all, how are they going to do that? Like Obama did a tax rebate. It was like $10,000. And listen, I didn't vote for Obama. I didn't love the guy, but I felt like that was a very helpful program. So
Yeah.
I supported
remember it
Remember
back
that?
then, yeah.
First time home buyer, you bought a house, and then when you went to file your taxes, if you owed the IRS $10,000, they wiped it out. If you didn't owe the IRS any money, you literally got a check, right? Here's the thing about this: $400 a month. How are they going to do that? They're not. It's not. That's not what's going to happen. They're not going to send people a $400 check. They can't tell the banks to reduce the mortgage payments. They absolutely have no control over that whatsoever.
Can they do anything with the FHA loans since it's a government loan? Like, is there, like, is it gonna be like a? I just don't understand how you can get this done.
Right, because you're using common sense right now,
Right,
right? And,
right.
and he's not, right? Common sense, you're right. How do you just drop somebody's mortgage payment? Could he give a rebate? What went through my head when I heard that was, okay, $400 a month times 12 months is $4,800 a year.
Yeah.
Did he say 1 year or two? I didn't hear it. Did he just say
He said 2 years.
2 years? So maybe what he's doing is they're going to give some sort of $9,600 tax break, much like Obama did, that was successful. Okay. And maybe he's just speaking to us in monthly payment terms. But I don't know, Carlos, because
But didn't what Obama did, wasn't it something where people didn't have to put a down payment? It was helping people get into houses as well?
trying to think.
I remember
think
that there was like
something
a
as
first-time
well.
home buyer program where they didn't have to do the down payment, and they didn't have, I think the only requirement was for them to stay in the house, for like a year or something. I don't know, or
That
5
was
years,
true.
something like that.
There might have been something where they gave a down payment credit as well, or what they said was when you bought, you could file for the tax rebate right away.
But in this case, he's not talking about down payment assistance.
No.
He's talking specifically about battling the rates, which means, okay, how can you help me out with that? $400 a month sound great, especially if in the next 2 years the rate goes down. As a buyer, I'm like, okay, so I feel like I'm overpaying about $400, with the rate that I can get right now compared to most people in the past, especially trying to battle this, home prices or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you get into a house, you don't like the monthly payment, but if you're thinking, okay, well, if that minus $400, that makes sense. I'm happy with that.
I just think it was
I don't
deceitful.
know how do you acquire that? It's different. People are not gonna like it if it's just gonna be a tax thing at the end of the year. But if you can actually make it where every month you're getting $400 because you bought a house, that might work.
I don't listen. I've been doing this 25 years.
I've never
don't.
seen
I
anything
don't
like this.
see a way it can happen because they remember even when they gave all those tax credits and even they do the down payment assistance, all those federal programs, they're not doing anything related to the actual loan. The bank is still lending the money.
Right. That's why I think the way that he's gonna try to do it has got to be something.
It's got to be a credit.
I don't know, but it has to be something like the paychecks that the stimulus checks that people got.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna be something like that. He plays a lot with stimulus checks, so I.
Oh,
I
you
feel
mean he
like
plays with our money?
If you can submit maybe some type of application or form that states that you just bought a house, and you're applying for this thing, and you can get approved for it. That's what I'm thinking. That
If he's going to do that, I mean,
I think that's
that would
that's
be
the only way
phenomenal.
that's the only way that I can think that this makes sense,
Right.
and it will actually help people in terms of people saying, oh, you know what, I will buy a house because it makes sense, and also
agree.
us as realtors will be like, hey, take advantage of this because it's for the next 2 years.
let's do some math on this.
Okay.
Why don't we find out what would $400 do based on a scenario? Let's do this together real quick. So let's use, what's a purchase price? You think 400,000 is kind of a good first-time home buyer number? Is that safe?
That makes sense.
All right, so we're going to do a $400,000 loan, okay? Which means your mortgage, your purchase price is probably a little higher because you're putting your down payment down, right? We're just going to do 400,000, and let's do a 30-year term. Let's use Lincoln Lending's rates today. So let's put this in at 6%. All right. So actually, no. Let's put 7 because let's say you're getting ripped off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let's make it even more real. So that would give a payment of $2,661 per month, principal and interest, right?
Right.
So what does that mean? Let's figure out the affordability. We need to look and figure out what payment would be $3,061 a month, right?
Yeah.
And that'll tell us what is it really doing to help somebody buy something bigger? Let's see. Let's go to $480,000. What does that do?
That's about right.
$31.93. Pretty close. So let's say you can probably what he's giving you, if they actually do this, is they're probably giving you between $65,000 and $75,000 of purchase power. That's significant.
Yeah, I agree.
So
now I
can we
will say
believe him,
this.
though?
I will say this. If this does happen, this is probably one of the best things that Joe Biden has ever done in his presidency. In order to attack the housing crisis and everything that's going on. But I will still tell you and suggest that you don't vote for this guy. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like you got 2 people right behind him. One of them stands up every time he says anything that, just stands up and claps. And the other person behind him, like that's my face through this whole speech right here. My face is like, okay, bro, like people don't believe you no more. Like what's real?
Your eyes get tired from rolling.
It's so much. Obviously, every politician lies.
Yeah.
But this guy has taken it to another level. I feel like with this administration, it's kind of like Cuba, where you know for a fact that they're lying, but there's nothing you can do.
What do you do?
You just take it, and they know that they're lying. You know that they're lying. Everybody knows, and you just watching it, and you just take it and take it. And
by the way,
it.
any new listeners, Carlos is from Cuba. He came from Cuba. His brother came literally on a raft. Okay, like almost killed himself doing it. That's right. So he's not just saying this. Yeah. Like you lived it. Like your family lived it.
Absolutely.
So this is not gringo over here.
This
saying
guy's a joke. This guy reminds me of the Castro family. Yeah. Not Castro himself, because Castro was a lot smarter.
Castro would have whooped this guy's ass.
Absolutely. But at least even at his old age, but at least I don't know. He reminds me of a Raul or somebody around there that just lies through his teeth. His fake teeth and just. On.
So I got to correct you. You say if he does this, it'll be one of the best things he ever does.
Yeah.
If he does this, it will be the only good thing that he's ever done.
Probably.
But
all right, let's keep watching here. Yeah.
Keep watching.
Just for 2 years. And my administration is also eliminating title insurance on federally backed mortgages.
Okay.
What?
Title insurance on federally backed mortgages. I don't even know what that means, Frank. Please let me know.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
So first of all, title insurance is an insurance policy that you're required to get on any home that you have a mortgage on. And what title insurance does, it's actually the least used insurance of any insurance. It's probably the biggest scam, if you ask me. But here's exactly what it does.
Okay.
Carlos, you go and buy a house tomorrow, and this house has been owned. Let's say it was built in 1950.
Okay, so I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah.
So, okay, I wanted to make sure it was that.
Yeah.
So you're talking about the fact that title insurance is to make sure that it protects the bank from anybody else saying that this is my house.
Yes.
Right? So it means like if you have title insurance on the house, the work was done to make sure that you're the only owner of the house.
You are the legitimate current owner.
All right.
Nobody else has claim
I wanted
to your
to make
house.
sure
Which, by the way, have
we
you
were
ever heard
talking
of a
about
claim?
the same thing.
Have you ever heard of a title claim before?
Not in my time span, but
I mean, I've
back
heard.
then,
I know
yeah.
they exist, right?
Yeah.
I've never seen one happen because it's very rare. So he just said he's going to get rid of title insurance. So
I don't understand that. How do you
get rid of that?
Yeah. Why would he even suggest that? That's a fee that you should pay as a buyer.
Yeah.
For sure. Or,
So who's going to cover it? Is the government going to cover if there's a
When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence. For millions of renters.
okay. So we'll get into renters in a second. So what did he just say?
So he said you can save $1,000 when you refi. So I'm going to explain that real quick. So, by the way, here's another weird thing. Every single state in the country has a different title insurance rate or premium.
Right.
Okay. Florida is one of the more expensive. We charge $575 for every $100,000 of title insurance. So what he's basing his math on is like a $180,000 loan would have $1,000 title insurance that you as an owner would have to pay when you refi. Okay.
Okay.
So I actually just picked up on something. He's not going to change it on the purchase. He's going to change it on the refi. So in other words, you're already paying title insurance when you purchase the house because he just clarified refi.
Okay.
So you're getting the same protection.
This is Joe Biden, guys. Like he'll make you feel one way, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's what he means. But
we're
if you
two
don't,
real
if you don't
estate
understand,
professionals, and it's hard to
Right.
explain.
If you
Imagine
don't-
the rest of the country.
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm over here, like, wait, did he just say what I think he said? Like he's gonna remove title insurance? How did that
No,
make
he's full of shit.
So no, he's not removing title insurance. It's just gonna help people refinance in terms of a closing cost.
But then across the country, it's different in every state. So what he's going to do is going to go say, which honestly, listen, I think title insurance on a refi is actually bullshit because you already have it on the purchase. So why do I got to pay the policy again? So I do think that's a BS charge. So I'm not opposed to what he's saying.
Okay, and that is
How he's gonna do
is
it, I
that a
don't know.
normal charge normally when people
Required
refinance?
on every single loan, any
Even
purchase
though
or
it was
mortgage.
already done on the original loan?
That's why I say it's a scam. Because when you buy the house, you're getting title insurance. The seller's usually paying for it here in Florida. You go to refi, they make you pay again. Why?
So, hey, maybe another good thing that Joe Biden might do in
Number
his 4-year
2.
terms. You know, he waited 3 years to start pulling this, rabbits off the hat.
Wonder
you know?
why he's doing it now, man. I wonder. I wonder. I don't know. What else did he say?
We're cracking down on big landlords who use antitrust law, who break antitrust laws
Who uses who breaks them? I need to touch on less.
Grant
by
Cardone?
price fixing and driving up rents.
Okay, I don't understand this at all. Please enlighten me with what you think he just.
I just heard we are going to a socialist society. That's literally what I heard. So he just said we're going to crack down on big landlords and how much they can raise rent. Grant Cardone, let's call you out right now. Did you hear this?
That's exactly what I saw. Okay, so I wanted to make sure we're on the same page.
So
Guys,
that's what they say in Cuba, right?
Right. We did not practice this at all. We're watching this. I watched the whole thing by myself, and I'm showing Frank this right now. I don't know. Have you seen it?
No.
Okay.
No.
So how do you tell me what I'm supposed to charge for the house that I own to my renters?
Well, I can do that because you're not living in the USSR, not USSA, right?
Like, how does that make any sense?
makes that-
Rent is driven by the market. Rent is driven by how many people want to rent.
Right.
The best way to bring rent down would be to have more smart people around the world that are making a significant amount of income to be able to buy their house, right? So if you're making enough income to buy a house, that's the one way to battle rent, to be the landlord. But how do you? What are you going to do to me as a homeowner if I'm? Let's just talk about this right now. I want to be an investor. I don't want to use my money as an investor. I want to use, let's say, your
My
money,
money.
Frank. I'm going to use your money to buy a house, and with the rates the way they are, and the way that things are, let's say I use a conventional loan to buy an investment, right? And I'm already going to be renting that property at the price that I can pay monthly,
Right.
with that amount that you were able to provide for me for the loan that the feds give me or whatever. So here comes Joe Biden to tell me that I can't charge that amount because that high amount that I'm already having to pay as a
Now,
to the
what
mortgage
happens when your
company.
insurance goes up?
Right. So if the rates are already up,
Right.
like I have no idea how can you.
It's pure socialism. It makes
This
zero
is
sense.
insane.
Joe Biden, if you want to help on this, build more public housing then. Because guess
Absolutely.
what? Then you're the one who owns it. Then the government owns it, and then you can say what you want to charge people. But do not come and tell Carlos and I that you can tell us or Cardone or anybody what we can charge for rent.
This is insane. Like the fact that if we the people allow our president to talk this way, guys, I'm telling you, like these are the little things that you gotta pay attention to. You cannot tell the business owners what to do, the homeowners what to do with their rent. It doesn't make any sense. The only thing that a government should be able to regulate are things that are important, like in a restaurant. If to protect people from salmonella, there's certain things that the government should regulate to make sure that a bunch of people are not getting sick and dying. In businesses, making sure that things are not getting taken advantage of. Homeowners are not taking advantage of rental prices. Homeowners can barely, the ones that have their houses completely paid off, at least the investors. The investors, they cannot. They might be able to collect money if you own the house completely, but
Free and
if
clear,
people are trying to basically just buy an investment with a conventional loan, how are you supposed to, like, it's already hard to rent it and you already have to keep it for 5-6 years so that you can actually wait for the right time to refinance and make that $300, $400, $500 that you could make back in the days when the rates were lower. So how are you going to tell me what to put as a house price if I can't pay the loan? Like, it's just the math doesn't make any sense.
People are not taking advantage of people. It's just like when you go to sell a house, Carlos. What is a real value of a house? In my opinion, it's what somebody will pay for it.
Right.
Same with rent. If you own a bunch of rental properties and the prevailing rate in your area is $2,000 a month and you try to jack it to $3,000, what's going to happen? You're not going to rent it out.
Not only that, I've already put houses during the 2 years ago when the market was really, really high. we put houses at certain prices on rentals, and people rented them.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, some of these homeowners that I represent in my property management, they asked me to put a price that I thought was ridiculous, but I did it anyways because they wanted to.
Did they rent?
Nobody rented the house for that price.
Oh, wow.
So
you mean the market dictates itself?
Right. So how is it possible that this man can just sit there and say something like that? I don't know.
But listen, I want to say something to people because I know there's a large segment of the population who hears this and they're cheering it. And they're saying, let's just say it's the renters, right? Nothing wrong with being a renter, right?
Right.
But let me ask you to your face, Mr. Renter, if you're cheering this saying, that's right, I don't want them to raise this up. Do you not aspire to maybe be a landlord one day? Do you not aspire to not rent for the rest of your life? Because if you do, you should be scared of what's being said.
Yeah. And that's a really good point, Frank. And I want to make sure, this is nothing against the renters.
No.
To me, it's more of a, if you are a renter, great. If you want to, because that's what you want to do, great. If you doing it because you have no other option, I understand. It's completely okay.
Right.
I just want to make sure that you don't celebrate something like this when he actually is talking about power and control.
Right.
He is not talking about your rent.
No.
Like, this has nothing to do with your rent. Now, if it's going to give you a paycheck so that the landlords can, get paid on time, or things can get, if, as a landlord, you just got to pay the landlords. It just doesn't make any sense.
Pay your rent.
Right. If you don't, you get kicked out. If the rates go down, like the rental rates are going to go down, then they go down. It depends on what the market says.
It's called supply and demand.
Right. He's not going to take that.
It's insanity.
Crazy.
Insanity.
Let's keep watching here.
I love this.
We've cut red tape so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass.
What did he just say? What did he just say right there?
Let's bring it back
Did
real
he say
quick.
cow pass?
Now pass.
Now pass. What the hell's this guy even saying, man?
Federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide. Now pass.
Yeah, now pass. Cow pass.
Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes and bring those rents down.
Okay.
Okay.
That
he
part
said build
makes sense.
affordable homes.
Right. That's what should happen.
Yeah.
Not, I'm gonna attack the landlords. Like,
Right. But
What are you gonna do
who
to the
wants to live in the
landlords?
projects either? Let's be honest.
right.
Like, I'd rather rent your house in a nice neighborhood if I can afford it than Joe Biden's cardboard box. He's gonna make me.
The people from the projects don't want to live in the project.
No, they don't.
Like, the good people,
Right.
the people that are good Samaritans, good citizens, they don't want to live in the
How
projects.
about a hand up instead of hand out?
Yeah, absolutely. Is that it? Yeah, that must be it. All right, so enough of that guy. So yeah, insane.
Oh,
With that, let's go into our real estate news here. I got a few things
right.
that I want to talk about here. So let's start with what he finished, which is the new construction. So construction spending fell unexpectedly in January. Though outlays on new single-family projects grew 0.6% amid strong demand. So basically what this is saying is that even though the spending went down, the demand has gone up right now. So it's preparing the market for more new construction coming up.
Yep.
I would say that this is spot on in terms of new construction. I see it everywhere still.
They're still building big time.
And not only in Tampa, like, dude, Miami, you see the new soccer stadium they're building right now?
It's beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Aren't they going to get the cup? Isn't that what's going on? I think they're getting the cup again soon.
What do you mean the cup?
The World Cup.
Oh, no. Well, hold on. So I know a lot about this topic because
figured you
this
do.
is my first sport,
Football?
soccer. Football. Yeah, absolutely. So the World Cup is coming in 2026.
Yeah,
I
I
have
knew it.
aspirations to go to games.
Let's go.
It's one of my dreams. It's definitely going to happen in Miami,
Yeah.
and I'm very sure this is going to be one of the stadiums. There's also some in California. There's soccer fans all over the world, but I
Yeah.
think New York, Miami, California are going to be some of the main cities
Love it.
that is going to come to. But Inter Miami, David Beckham, Messi, and the Cuban guy, I forget his name. I should know his
How
name.
could you forget the Cuban guy,
I know.
bro?
You know what I love about this guy? Like he's the whole team. The Inter Miami team is all around freedom. Like the whole goal is for people to the whole theme is freedom to dream, and I really enjoy that. You know, his whole speech when Messi came on was really inspiring. I really love that you know, the Cuban exile, or he's actually a son, I believe, of the Cuban exile, the originals, which was really cool to see. No. The Cuban exile are the people that come over, the people
left.
that first came over when Fidel took over and started changing things around.
Got it.
I believe.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, you
what
know
it
better
is.
than me.
Hey, I don't know, man, because there's a lot
Call
of
him
different,
out if he's wrong.
There's a lot of different definitions for a lot of different Cubans. So
Right.
it depends. You know, there's still Cuban exiles now that are leaving the country now.
I'm
so.
willing to bet they're not Joe Biden supporters.
Yeah, for sure. So basically, this, you know, David Beckham and him and that guy that I'm talking about, they created Inter Miami 4 years ago, and now they brought over Messi with that huge deal that Adidas was involved in, Apple, and all of this is happening in Florida, guys. You know, the state that we live in. So. You know,
Everybody's moving
congratulations to DeSantis for allowing for all of this to happen. I mean, props to him because he had a lot to do with it as well. But basically, we got a new stadium being built right now, right next to the airport.
That's
We're
awesome.
talking about Miami. It's like the international capital of the world.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. Yeah.
Soccer is or football is the sport of the world. Is bigger than the Super Bowl by a lot.
Most watched sport in the world.
And you know, nothing on the Super Bowl. I love American football too. So
Yeah.
nothing. Not talking
you
crap
say
there.
football, I'll say soccer.
Right. But basically, now they're building a brand new stadium right next to Miami's international airport, so people can fly in from anywhere around the world, catch a game of Messi. I mean, all sorts of celebrities are going down there right now to watch him. Last one I heard was Mr. Slap a guy, Will Smith. And
I love that.
my jokes are funny
They
sometimes.
should have arrested that dude. Actually, listen,
They
Mr.
should
Slap
have.
a guy.
But you know, at the same, you know, hey, props to Chris Tucker for the way he handled that whole situation. I love the fact that he just shut up and just watched what happened around the world, and then did a stand up and just completely obliterated him in that stand up. I thought
He's
it
a
was
classy
really good.
guy, man. Classy
Yeah,
guy.
for
A
sure.
lot of people would not have reacted that way.
But yeah, guys, basically new construction is everywhere. At least here in Florida, don't expect that to go away. It's going to keep happening. Orlando's growing, Tampa's growing, which means anywhere between Tampa and Orlando is going to keep growing. Plant City is doing some amazing new construction
Winter
right now because
Haven.
in Tampa, sometimes it's not even making sense because the land value is so high that you know, unless you buy something in South Tampa, you can't really sell it for a price that makes sense construction-wise because the construction cost is also very high. So a lot of people are moving into Plant City, Spring Hill, Winter Haven, a bunch of areas that are in the middle, and all of that, anything that has to do, you know, that is close to I-4, I-75, in my opinion, is going to grow in value substantially in the next 10 years or so. And with everything going on around Miami as well, it's just too many new constructions going on. Unless inflation goes completely high or a world war starts or something crazy happens, everything should move towards you know, a better economy or a better state or a better country, in my opinion, in terms of the economy. And I pray for that. But anyways, let's go into the next one here. Application increases. Frank, I'll let you talk about this one. Purchase mortgage applications increased 11% last week. Demand was still 8% lower than the same week a year ago.
So we feel it. We absolutely have felt it. There's no question. The month of January was a little slow. We're talking about February here with the 11% increase in applications. Absolutely, I see it on the ground level. Again, this data leads me to encourage anybody who is saying that they're going to purchase this year. And that person who says, I'm waiting for the right time, this is the right time. Yeah. Right
Especially
now.
with what Joe Biden just said.
Well, buy now before you.
At least, listen, if you're planning on buying in the next 3 to 4 months, just at least get your pre-approval done, guys. Like, I hate to break bad news to clients, but a lot of clients come to me thinking that they're ready to buy, and then all of a sudden there's one little thing that they got to work on or some issue that they have to fix. And then, they get a little discouraged, and a lot of times they don't want to continue or something like that. And I got to give them a whole explanation of how home buying is planned sometimes for people.
You
It's
gotta
not
start
as
early.
easy, right?
So I had a guy call me today, and he asked me, what should he do? When should he apply? And I asked, well, when are you trying to purchase? And he said, well, I'm coming down at the end of the month to look at properties with my agent. I said, then right now is the answer. And Carlos, tell me, there's a lot of properties, you have to have a pre-approval letter to put an offer, but there's actually a lot of places that they want you to have a pre-approval letter before you even go show the house.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So-
I'm one of those agents. I mean, it depends on the homeowner.
Right.
But if I got people living at the house and I'm gonna show the house, I'm not gonna waste my time with somebody that's not pre-approved. It just doesn't
Why should you?
make sense. And I have to ask a lot of the homeowner to leave the house. Get it ready for you to show it and all of that. So why would I?
You're
show it to
conveniencing
anybody?
everybody.
Right.
So listen, when we see application volume is up, that means there's more competition.
Absolutely.
So that means get off your tail.
That's right. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the Feds here. The Feds have a message. Fed Chair Jerome Powell told Congress the Fed is in no rush to cut interest rates until it is convinced. Until it is convinced it's won the battle over inflation. So what do you think about this part right here? Fed Chair Jerome Powell not interested in cutting rates.
All right, so everybody's talking about the rates getting cut and what is the Fed going to do. And last night on the State of the Union, we heard Biden basically say that the rates are going to come down and the Fed's getting ready for this. And then the Fed chairman comes out and says, well, we're going to wait until we see inflation get better. Guys, it's a game, okay? The Fed, here's the good news. The Fed raised the rate constantly for the last 3 years. 3 years in a row, they raised the rate. Last 2 times they met, they paused, okay? That's good. That's very good. When those rates get dropped, even though they're saying that they're going to wait until inflation's lower, first of all, that's on Biden. He's not, I know I'm trying to get you in here.
You're good.
He's not spending the money, okay? I'm sorry, the other way. He's spending the money. He's keeping our prices of things up, which is the inflationary problem. But as soon as those rates drop, as soon as the Fed drops them an eighth, which they meet every month. So at the end of every month, usually around the 20th, 25th, you're going to get a Fed meeting. When those rates drop, watch out. Application volume is already up over 11%. Carlos just gave us that stat.
Yeah.
So we know there's more activity in the market. We're seeing more offers come in just in the last 2 weeks. So when that couples with the actual rates dropping, which even though it's not the 30-year fixed rate, everybody's going to think it is, they're going to run out, and it's going to be supply and demand, and you're going to be caught up in that mix. So don't get caught up in the mix.
Absolutely.
Right? When he's going to lower it, we don't know because it's a freaking game. Okay? They but it will lower before the election. So you only have a few months. It's right around the corner,
Absolutely.
man. We'll be like 7 months away.
Yep.
8, something like that.
So Frank, let me ask you this, because I believe for you to know this information more than I do. We just saw the State of the Union address, and Joe Biden mentioned, a few things that might help homeowners. So I know this is going to be some of the questions that they're going to be asking me, so I'm already thinking a little bit ahead.
All right.
So he stated that they're going to, first-time home buyers are going to get $400 a month for 2 years. When is he doing this? Is this if you vote for him?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Or is this before the year ends? What? Because that raises a question to me too. For all my people that are anti-communist like myself, it raises a question too. So is this just something that, because it would make me want to vote for Joe Biden more if he does it right now. Let's tackle this problem right now, because a lot of the things that he said made me feel like, dude. Okay, like he mentioned teachers should get paid more, and he's going to do something so that teachers can get paid more. And I'm like, why didn't you do that 3 years ago?
Oh, that's what everybody is saying.
What's going on with like all this? Out of everything that he said, I was like, wow, everything sounds so pretty. Like, what happened that you didn't do this maybe 2 years ago? Let's say COVID was in the way, right?
Okay.
Why didn't you do it 2 years ago? Why is it right now? Why is everything sounding so pretty right now after Americans have suffered for so long? Yeah. And to me, the simple answer is he wants your vote. He's not doing shit. That's what I think.
So he got in the office. He decided to spend all of his time reversing all of Trump's policies, which we all know what happened to the border and everything else when he did that. And they had 3.5 years to make some changes. I mean, I personally, Carlos, what I thought, I'm not going to lie. When he went in the office, I was pissed off. I knew that we were going to have problems. I knew this inflation crap was going to happen. But I felt like going through 8 years of Obama. And as much as I didn't like the guy and didn't vote for him, that first-time home buyer money he gave, we agree, it was a major stimulus. It helped so many people get into their homes. Yeah. It was great. I thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I thought of all this stuff that this dumbass was going to do. I thought for sure he's going to do some sort of something for home buyers, and he hasn't done anything. So why are we going to listen now? Yeah. Why should we?
I'll tell you what. I thought, you know, when Biden won, in my head, I'm like, this is not good. Things are not going to go great. But he has exceeded, you know, that bad expectation. Like, he has gone way worse than what I thought he would be for this country. Yeah. I've never in my lifetime have seen a president this bad. If I'm 100%,
it's like
honest.
George Bush. Shame on me, like shame on you, whatever. When you say don't do it 3 times, but the whole point is, I get it. I get why some people voted for him. You hated Trump. You heard he's the good old guy. He's going to go in there and help us out, right? Wonderful. Are you going to do it twice? Now that you've seen what he hasn't done and what he has done, are you going to do it again? If so, go to the doctor.
Yeah.
Get checked.
Absolutely.
Put down the joint.
Well, this is going to conclude our episode today, guys. So I want to thank you all for watching so very deeply, very much. Please make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you share if you like this content. Make sure that you comment so that we know what to talk about. Hey, do you not agree with us? Go ahead and leave us a comment so we can talk about it and we can discuss it in the show. But with, you know, I don't know, anything else you want to say, Frank?
It's been a great show, Carlos. It's the time now, and we're available. Let us run the numbers for you.
Absolutely. The information is always in the description for you guys. This is We the People, a real estate podcast. We're out. Week. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This is We the People, a real estate podcast. Make sure to subscribe.